Thank you for showing up to march against Monsanto today, Illinois. We really appreciate it. We've got a few guest speakers today.
Who are you?
Candace Allstrand. Thank you. And then after that, we're going to begin marching around 1 o'clock, so be ready. The first speaker is going to be Jessica Fuyang. So everyone welcome Jessica to the stage.
Yay!
Thanks, Candace. My name is Jessica Fuyang. I'm the Midwest organizer with Food and Water Watch. Thank you all for coming to march against Monsanto and stand for our right to know what is in our food. Monsanto has been at the forefront of the biotechnology industry and is one of the largest agricultural patent-holding companies in the world, with more than 1,676 patents on seeds and plants. It began as a purveyor of controversial chemicals like Agent Orange, and Fortune magazine named it possibly America's most feared corporation. But today we are through with fear. We are unafraid because today we are joined by thousands of Americans and tens of thousands around the world who share our passion for justice and our message that we will not be victims of Monsanto's products or monopoly. But Monsanto has a close relationship with the U.S. government, which helps it to find loopholes or simply create regulations that benefit their bottom line. Up to 2012, Monsanto spent $62 million lobbying our government, and members of Monsanto's board of directors have held positions in our government since the 80s. This condition is worsening nationally, but felt even more deeply in developing countries. Food and Water Watch poured over thousands of cables released on WikiLeaks and found that U.S. embassies have attempted to burnish Monsanto's image. The U.S. State Department has exercised diplomatic persuasion to bolster Monsanto, facilitating field testing and approval of Monsanto crops. This means that our tax dollars have subsidized and nurtured Monsanto's expansion abroad. Is this what we want? No! Unfortunately, our tax dollars are working against us at home as well. In 2009, the United States had 93% of its soybeans and 80% of its corn grown and subsidized by Monsanto with their patented genes. GE food companies are not only pervasive, but they sell foods that are untested. Companies submit their own safety testing data, and independent research on GE foods is limited because biotechnology companies prohibit us from cultivating their products for our research purposes. Safety concerns should result in a halt to all sales of genetically engineered foods today. And we ask even less than that. We simply ask for the right to know and the right to make a decision about what it is we're eating. While Monsanto may have gotten away with puppeteering our government and our food system up to now, today we are cutting the strings.
Oh yeah!
This is the first of many days that will bring us closer to controlling how we farm and what we eat. But if we want tomorrow to bring us greater transparency, real choice, and government accountability, we must demand it. This march must not end at the Thompson Center. We must share our message with our friends, with our communities. We must hold the Illinois legislature accountable for the approval of current legislation that would make GE labeling the law. And we must speak out. For this summer, we have an opportunity at public hearings that are hosted by the Senate of our state. We must hold accountable the 4 legislators who have the power to make GE labeling a possibility in our state. In Aurora, Senator Linda Holmes. In Peoria, Senator Dave Kaler. In Springfield, Senator Sam McCann. And in Champaign, Senator Michael Frerichs. This march is for you. We are talking to you, and we demand our right to know and that GMOs be labeled in Illinois. Introducing the Legislative Director of Illinois Right to Know GMO, Joan Levin.
Hey! Hi
Hey there for coming out, everybody. Jessica said it all. Every time you eat a meal, every time you go to the store to shop, you're casting a vote. You're casting a vote for GMO or non-GMO every time you buy food. Now, how are you going to know what food is GMO? That's why we need labeling, so you can vote for non-GMO. When you stop buying GMO food, when you see that label, those GMO foods will be off the shelf. Off the shelf. So that's why we need labeling, so everybody can choose GMO or non-GMO. Non-GMO, the GMOs go off the shelf. Today our legislators in Springfield are considering laws to label GMO. Jessica told you about that. We're going to have these hearings this summer. We're going to have them in September in Chicago, in June in Normal, Bloomington, downstate in Carbondale in August. We need to get behind them and let our legislators know this is what you want. Now, 2 days ago, our United States senators, I'm pointing at their offices up there, Senator Kirk and Senator Durbin, tried to say that we don't have the right to have labeling in our state. But we do have that right. We're taking back that right. We're taking it back today. Yes. They tell us that labeling will drive up prices. This hasn't happened in any of the other countries that have had labeling. The companies are not even required, Monsanto is not even required to test the food for safety. And yet they do their own tests and they don't tell us what comes out of it. And when they do test, they don't test long enough to find out what the problems are. So they say the food and the chemicals used to grow them are safe, but you try telling that to a lab rat who has to eat the stuff. No, they want to force us to buy their products that are protected by highly profitable but monopolistic patents. We're going to tell them no. They want us to support an industry that hurts small farms and hurts farm workers all over the world. We're going to tell them no. They want us to support farming methods that pollute our soil, our air, our water, but we're going to tell them no. They think it's all right for one mammoth company to ride roughshod over our government and over our laws for their profit, and we're going to tell them no. We need clear labeling so we can make good choices, and that is the way we're going to tell them no. If we don't buy them, those foods will be off the shelf. So let's get labeling, let's get GMOs off the shelf. The food companies will bring us non-GMO foods just as they do in Europe and in countries all over the world. Okay, folks, we've got a great big fight ahead. But look at this. We're fighting a company that has infinite money and infinite resources to give you a false and misleading message. But look around you. Look around you. This is the result of a few people just like you, a few people who had a few hours to put into it, a little money to give to it, and look what we have. We have the votes. We have the people. Let's say no to GMOs. Let's get GMOs labeled. Let's get them off the shelf, and let's do this thing. Thank you.
Everyone give it up for Joan! How you doing? My name is Arthur. I have one message, and that is that the food you eat today, you are going to wear tomorrow. When you ingest genetically modified foods, you will be wearing those genes tomorrow. Why don't we require mandatory labeling laws in the US? And yet Europe does. I'll tell you why. It's because Europe identifies with the environment they live in. To them, farms are cultural landscape. To us, it's one crop, corn, soybean, over mass-produced factories and farms. Okay, guys, this is a problem. One, we need to support non-commercial polycultures. All right? In other words, support your local farmer. Build culture. The U.S., we don't have agriculture. We have an agribusiness. We want the culture back, guys. Let's go. Hi, good afternoon, Chicago. How you guys doing tonight? Sound like a stand-up comedian or something. I'm going to talk to you right now about the bad guys that we are seeing in the revolving doors with our government and Monsanto. So when you hear their names, let me know how you feel about them. So, beginning, I'm going to give you 3 prime examples of the revolving doors. 1, wrong page. Number 1 is Clarence Thomas. Former attorney for Monsanto, later appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court. Number 2, Linda Fisher, Vice President of Government and Public Affairs for Monsanto.
She's a creature!
Later appointed to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency as Deputy Administrator. And number 3 is our prime example, which has a long history in our government and Monsanto. His career, well, first of all, his name is Michael Taylor.
Monster!
Michael Taylor's career began in 1976 as a staff attorney for the FDA. 1981, he was a lawyer for a firm called King & Spalding that serves Monsanto. From there, he went in 1991 as Deputy Commissioner for Policy at the FDA, and then later Administrator for the USDA. Then Taylor returned to Monsanto to become Vice President for Public Policy.
Fascism!
It doesn't end right there, it keeps going. Then in 2009, he returned to become Senior Advisor to the FDA. And now, he is the Deputy Commissioner for Foods in the FDA.
Fascism!
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe there is definitely something wrong with our political system.
Fascism!
With that, we must understand that there must never, ever be any differences that separate us. Because there's been so many things that separate us in our culture, in our country. That is race, religion, sexual orientation, economic status. No, we must come together. Our political beliefs come together. My message to everyone is unity. No matter what political beliefs we have, the political system has shown its true colors in recent decades. The power of corporations have greatly influenced the decisions made in our Congress, regardless of the parties being Democrat or Republican. Our greatest example is the Monsanto Protection Act, signed this past March. Signed this past March by our current president. To understand this fact is part of our unity and great awakening. That starts right here with the thousands of people here in Chicago, the tens of thousands more all over the country, in our nation, and the millions all over the world. This is a global awakening. Your power is in your dollar. Don't buy GMO. Buy organic. Support your local farmers. Say no to GMO. Grow organic. Grow your own farms. Grow all your own food. Much love. Peace and love for you guys.
everyone. My name is Katie. It is so amazing to see how many people there are. We are all here. We are all here, present in the moment, fighting for our right to know. What I'm about to discuss affects everybody on the planet. Our way of life is being destroyed by Monsanto. Monsanto is killing off the world's bee population. Life as we know it. Recent studies on death rates among honeybees are beginning to point at genetically modified seeds produced by Monsanto. In 2012, an epidemic swept through commercial bee colonies, killing up to 50% of the nation's bee colonies used to pollinate crops for farmers. There has been a near catastrophic die-off of honeybees over the winter. European scientists have linked bee epidemics to the neon isotinoids, which are incorporated into plants grown from genetically altered seeds produced by Monsanto. The seeds are suspected to be the culprit in the mass die-off of bees in both Germany and Spain. In response to the research, the European Union has already proposed a Europe-wide ban of the seeds. The herbicide used, Roundup, is a derivative of Agent Orange from the Vietnam War. And now, its creator, Monsanto, has coaxed the US EPA to endorse the release of these poisons, and they are disseminating not only the bee population, but the birds, crickets, butterflies, worms, everything in sight. A new census taken at the monarch butterfly wintering grounds found their population had declined 59% over the previous years and was at its lowest ever measured. How exactly are Monsanto's products killing the monarch butterfly population? Each year, massive amounts of Roundup are sprayed on the corn and soybean fields, killing everything in sight, including milkweed, which monarchs depend on to survive. Monsanto's Roundup contains active ingredients, glyphosates, which has been tied to more health and environmental issues than you can possibly imagine. Now imagine you are a monarch butterfly, having flown hundreds of miles northern towards the breeding grounds in search of milkweed. But there is no milkweed. The circle of life, the chain has been broken. Since the use of genetically modified Roundup Ready began, milkweed has disappeared from over 100 million acres of row crops, or a roughly 58% decrease. Milkweed is not only the monarch caterpillar's host, the nectar-rich flower provides nourishment for hundreds of species of bees and other insects. Recently, a respected researcher's hives were illegally confiscated by the Illinois Department of Agriculture because they were suspected of having a bee disease called American foul brood. Ruining 15 years of research. They have not returned them, and no one seems to know, no one at the Agriculture Department knows where these bees are. The bees could have been destroyed, or they could have been turned over to Monsanto to ascertain why some of his bees are Roundup Ready resistant. Without the bees as evidence, Ingram simply cannot defend against these phony charges. Illinois beekeepers are going underground after this experience and refuse to register their hives in case the state tries to steal their private property on phony claims. The government will continue to be corrupt. What we allow will continue. In these times, we must arm ourselves with knowledge and understanding. We must educate and stay informed. Non-compliance is our only option. In the words of Albert Einstein, if the bee disappears from the surface of the earth, man would have no more than 4 years to live. March against Monsanto with us today in the fight for humanity against corporate greed. This is our chance